I'm JD the Media Jack,
I'm James Carberry 80.
and we're sitting down to just discuss a game that you and I had purchased recently and put in a lot of hours already. And it's something that I wasn't expecting to have this sort of feeling or reaction about. And
Yes.
that game is...
WWE 2K22.
Right. So for the TLDR, Too Long Didn't Read, this is not what you would expect if you were coming off of 2K19. And we won't refer to that other game because it didn't exist. But
Yeah. What other game?
exactly. But 2K22, surprisingly fun to play. And they changed up a lot of things. They streamlined a few things. And, I mean, I'm rather impressed by this game.
Yeah, I have a feeling they were like, look, 2K, either you put out a good game or you're done. You know, they had their issues because all the roster cuts, like in real life.
Yeah.
And then it's just, it's kept, what's the game going to be like? Because of all that craziness that's happening in the real world.
Yeah. So, again, TLDR, this game is fun to play. It's a step away from 2K19, and there are some changes between this game and the prior game, but you'll be pleasantly surprised to play it once you get past the learning curve of the new control scheme.
That was the biggest thing, especially for me coming off all of the previous 2K games and jumping to this one thing. I knew they informed us of new controls, but I didn't think it would be that drastic of a change. It's kind of like more arcadey-like, and it's not more simulation, I guess. It's still a simulated game, obviously, but it's more kind of like the classic WWF No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000.
WrestleMania 2000? Yeah, exactly. So if you're old enough, like me, to remember playing those games on the N64, you will get that nostalgic feeling of playing WWE 2K22. You don't have to watch the video or the rest of the video if you don't want to, but thank you for sticking around as we get deeper into this game. There are multiple modes in 2K22. We'll start off with the control scheme, which is a bit of a change.
Definitely. Yeah.
Again, going
Definitely.
going from 2K19 to 2K22, the block used to be the triggers on your controller. Now block is just flat out the Y button.
Or, whatever other button in case you're playing PS4, or, probably the triangle button.
Yeah, so the top button. And also, there's a chance to block an attack if you can guess what that attack is. If it's a light attack, a hard attack, or a grapple attack.
Grapple. And there also is no reversal limit anymore compared to the previous last few entries.
Yeah. They got rid of the stamina bar as well.
Which makes it more arcadey-like instead of more like simulating later in the match. You're not as tired.
Exactly. You still do signatures and you still do finishers. It seemed as though, I haven't been able to figure it out yet, but you stumbled across it at one point in time where you were able to do a double team inside the ring. The new button scheme and a new control scheme, like it definitely is more arcadey, and it takes a little bit to get used to, but you can really get into a rhythm as long as you're willing to do the tutorial, because my goodness, that is handy. And
yes.
And secondly, like, just get some hours in and get some practice and get that muscle memory down to, like, not pull a trigger, but hit that top button on your controller to prevent being attacked.
Which I still haven't learned how to do.
Getting into the actual modes of the game, as every WWE 2K game has, they have different ways to play. You have the Showcase, which features Rey Mysterio, and then you have Universe Mode, which they added a few changes to that. You have My GM, My Faction, My Rise, which is the story mode, and then the online lobby. So we'll start off with the Showcase, which is all about Rey Mysterio. And
Rey Mysterio's journey.
In 2K19, the Showcase was Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson. And if you bought the accelerator.
Accelerator.
Yeah, that's it. If you bought the accelerator, you unlocked everything. and you didn't have to go through the showcase. There was no reason other than just to see what the story was and to listen to Daniel Bryan retell his career. This time around, they locked certain things behind the wall of the showcase. You had to get through each match and do certain things to recreate what happened in those iconic matches of Rey Mysterio.
They've had these modes, guys, since back in WWE 13. That's like ages ago.
Mm-hmm.
And those ones usually dragged on a lot because they had a lot of wrestlers to go through. The last few showcases they've done from like 16 to now, it's just more on one person. And there's only like maybe, I don't know, JD, like 10 matches you have to do with Rey Mysterio,
I think,
give or take.
Yeah, give or take, yeah. At
the beginning of each match, he talks about the match. Another cool thing they added was in mid-match, they do in the middle of a move or something, they go right to the real-life cutscenes.
Yeah, the real footage. Transition. Yeah, and it's cool to see that. And you notice at the very beginning of this showcase, it is kind of a double whammy showcase because it is Rey Mysterio, yes, but it's also showcasing Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, which I think maybe if they do more DLCs, maybe they do another showcase featuring Eddie Guerrero, and maybe have Rey Mysterio narrate it, or somebody like I can't be Vicky Guerrero at the moment, but someone close to Eddie's family that can showcase more about him, because he's pretty much worldwide a beloved wrestler.
Yes. The next mode, just going in the order of the screen, is the Universe mode. And the Universe mode is something that you and I enjoy playing on 2K19. We get to basically go through our own stories and go up against our own challenges, and also act like a general manager. Well, they've added something to this Universe mode. You have the typical sandbox, which is what you and I are used to. And then you have the Superstar mode, where you pick one superstar, and then you just go along this year as that one superstar.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think the reason why they put it in there, and I could be wrong, I've seen a lot of like other content creators do that, to where they'll be like, oh, I'm going to play WWE 13, but only as so-and-so, like The Undertaker. Or they go through the whole thing and tell their own story.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why they did that.
Yeah. It's a sign as to how 2K has taken this game and streamlined it in a way for the fans and the new to the game players. You get an option of like, yeah, you can go sandboxing, you just have at her and change this and change that and whatever. But picking that one superstar, you go through an entire year as anyone you want, but that you're just locked into that one character, which, I mean, sometimes that's all you want.
They kind of streamlined it to like a typical fighting game in a way. Like you have your main character, and they all have different combos and movesets. So it's kind of like if you pick that one character, like you get better memory of their moveset and the combos.
Yeah, that's actually something that we haven't touched on yet either. Combos are a part of this game, part of the combat. You start off with the light attack, and then you go into a subsequent 3-button sequence or 4-button sequence, which can be all light attacks, or a light attack into heavy attack, or a light attack into a heavy attack into a grapple. And it again, it streamlines the action. It makes it more arcadey. You don't have to worry about like up, down, down, or anything of the sort, but it is button mash heavy.
It's kind of like a Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter in a way, where you have to put the certain input in order to get the move you want.
Yeah, and like I'm kind of a fan of it. Like it's a change from 2K19, but like it's an easy, simple thing. You just mash away. Know that you start off with a light attack and then just kind of build from there.
Right.
The next feature is My GM. And this is where I ran into my first problem chronologically from the page, like the landing page of the game. My GM is where you are a general manager. You pick your avatar. It can be Sonya Deville, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, William Regal, or whatever the hell his name is, not important enough to remember.
Memory, JD. Memory.
I don't care. Anyway, it's a 2-player game. You can play either against the AI or you can play against a second person, a second human. And this is my first problem, is that it is local only.
Yes.
Like,
Which is it is kind of a big problem. Maybe they can patch that at some point. But at this point, it is only local multiplayer. The only good thing is, unlike the original 2006, which I had to experience firsthand, you need 2 controllers to do that. And I stupidly only brought 1 controller over one time with my cousin Mark. So I had to go all the way home, get another controller. At least they fixed that, where you only need 1 controller to activate the 2-player GM mode.
Yeah. But you pick your avatar, and then you pick your show, and each avatar has a bonus, and each show has a bonus, and then you go through anywhere from the minimum, I think, is like a 15-week...
15 to 50
week season, and you pick your venue, you pick your stars, you go through a draft, you have a set budget, and you have to make an income as well as grow your fan base as you go head to head with this other player, either the AI or another human. And this is the part that makes me a little ticked off, is the fact that, like, I would love to go head to head with you, James, but you live in Ohio, I live in British Columbia, and it just ain't gonna happen.
Nope. Not gonna happen anytime soon, my friend.
Yeah. But I did complete a 15-week My GM, and I was hooked. Like, it was a challenge, and it was fun to try to figure out a budget and grow a fan base, and then try to just manipulate a storyline and rivalries, and then use these bonus cards and then get upgrades. I sat through from start to finish a 15-week season in My GM, and I loved it. I look forward to playing another round.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm going through it on my own channel with my aforementioned cousin Mark.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of fun. The only complaint I have with it is the fact there's only 2 titles on each show. There's only the World Championship and the Women's Championship. There's no mid card, no tag, compared to the old games, which is kind of a letdown. But at least they have the core mechanic of the GM mode done right. And another good thing they did is you don't have to worry about some superstars having a contract expiring. Unlike the old games where you had to worry about literally every single superstar.
Yeah.
Now some of them are just permanent. Kind of the mid-carders to upper-carders, some of them can do that.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you have the legends, which are expensive but worth it.
Yeah.
And then you have a bunch of jobbers they added.
Yeah, and they're the ones who are under contract, too. Legends, you have to renew their contracts. So I want to... I'm pleasantly surprised by My GM. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not online co-op, because I think that would be something that they're really missing out on, is the ability to go head to head with, like me and you doing My GM online. You would think that would be something that they would have included, but unfortunately that sort of option is just not there.
Yeah. Another quick thing I forgot to mention. In the settings, when you create your roster, you can actually decide which superstars can be legends or just standard superstars.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was doing it with Mark, and I figured that out.
Yeah. Next on the landing page is my faction, and emphasis on the F, because this is just this is where they're dipping their toes into microtransactions, and I refuse to bite.
Nope. There's some games I've done that on, and I still do to this day. That's okay. Something like this, no. Especially the main mechanic is you have cards that you get, and that's your superstars. Which I guess for card collectors and stuff, that's fine. But like for standard wrestling fans who don't really care about the cards, like it's kind of a weird reason to put microtransactions in the game.
So you and I got a starter pack, and we got the exact same starter pack, which was weird. And I tried a few rounds with my faction, and I I don't get the point. I don't understand. I don't see the benefits or the rewards. I don't get it. And the only thing I do understand is the fact that they're trying to monetize something in this game to grease the wheels a little bit more, but this is such a step away from anything else that only truly someone who's looking for a different challenge would find any sort of entertainment out of. Like I said, I tried a couple of rounds with this thing, and it's like I'm using a wrestler that I'm not exactly familiar with, and I'm not understanding the rewards, and it says I need to buy this to get new cards, but I just like, okay, fine. You know what? At least it's not tied to everything else.
The fact that they added microtransactions, which, every game nowadays pretty much has microtransactions, it just seems like an unnecessary step. Like, couldn't you just, like, you can get the currency manually, so I don't know why you would need pay $100 to get these microtransactions. No. Just no.
Well, they have to have some sort of way for you to grind through. I mean, otherwise it's just a flat out money pit, right? But it goes along so slowly. And again, like unless someone really finds a challenge and interest in this specific part of the game, it's forever going to be something on the landing page I'm going to be going past.
Yes. Agreed.
The last thing on the landing page is My Rise, which is the story mode for WWE 2K22. What do you think? What do you think?
And this time, so far, I've dabbled a bit of it, at least on the male side, because in this game, guys, you have two different stories. You got the men's side and the women's side. So, and they each have different stories. It's not the same thing. And I've played the male side a little bit so far, and I do like it. It's kind of puts you in dream matches as well. Like, I had literally had a dream match, like dreaming of it, of The Rock and Stone Cold teaming up in a handicap match against me.
The story mode in My Rise, it gives you the option to be a heel or be a face, depending on your choice. And you can actually flip-flop back and forth. You're not necessarily locked into being a heel the entire time or being a face the entire time. And also, surprise, surprise, your character isn't a prick. No matter whether you are a heel or a face, like there is some respect there. There is some heart there. And I've dabbled in both the male story mode and the female story mode. And yeah, they're completely separate and they are independent of each other. And there's a nice little touch to that of not tying it together, nor is it on rails both ways. So I'm rather impressed by My Rise.
Yeah, they definitely took the time to add a little bit more story compared to just going through the motions of just all showcase stuff.
The last sort of gameplay feature is the online lobby, which I don't know about you, James, but I have a disdain for playing against randos online, especially a wrestling game.
Yes.
Like, that's just not going to happen for me.
It goes to that fighting game thing where you try to play online and then get crapped on by someone that's played 100 hours into the game compared to your 10.
Yeah. No.
So it's just like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd rather play with my friends.
Exactly. And so that locks us down to just having a private lobby. And in 2K19, you and I have, and repeatedly, successfully, were able to start a private lobby, pick a wrestler, have a match, go back into the lobby, change the match, have another match, blah, 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 back and forth for like a couple of hours. This time around, what a fuck around. Holy crap.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So I had to create a private lobby and then invite James to it. I just going through the first time, create a private lobby, invite James to it. I figured let's just get warmed up. It'll be 2-on-1, James and myself versus someone, and like an AI. I'm not going to subject that sort of beating to just a random person. And I couldn't figure out how to move my character designation from the victim, the solo of this handicap tag team.
Yes.
And it in a slight blink, as soon as every character has been selected, it goes reorder or something like that. And
reset teams.
Yeah, reset teams. And you hit the button quickly and like, oh, okay, now we can choose who we are wrestling against and where the teams are. What the hell were you thinking?
Yeah, they definitely, compared to 19, they definitely took a back step in the way the lobbies were. Because now, guys, you can't just, if we do a handicap match, that's the only thing you can do. You have to back out, make a new lobby, make a new match set, and keep doing that. And it's just like, why would you step back to something that was working the previous game?
Exactly. The way the online lobbies work now is different as well. There's an entire list of public lobbies that you can join and drop in, drop out, blah, blah, blah. But like, I wonder like what the thought process or what it would take to just like, here's a private lobby, adjust it as you please, invite whoever you want, and then just that is its own bubble. Like the way that was in 2K19 was perfect because we didn't have to leave every single time we were like, let's try a different match. No, we just adjusted it and fucking went.
Another thing we haven't figured out is how to put entrances on.
Yeah. I mean,
still haven't figured that out.
No, but at the same time, like looking at what they've done in 2K22, like they streamlined a lot of things, and so adding the entrances would probably make things a little bit more slower and bog things down. So there's a chance that they just disabled entrances for online play, which again kind of speaks to them streamlining. So with that, create a superstar. Again, there's a lot of streamlining that happens there. Now, they haven't limited things, but they just made things simpler.
You pick out of the four, you pick what style you want to be. Striker, technician, powerhouse, and I think the last one's high flyer.
Yes, exactly. And then of that four, you pick whether you're a cruiserweight, a light heavyweight, a heavyweight, or a super heavyweight. And then you get another four options. Are you from an MMA background? Are you a pro athlete background? Are you, I forget what the third one was.
Actor.
That's the fourth one.
So let's see, MMA.
Indie
wrestling, yep.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it gives you four options. It gives you like, what's your style? How heavy are you? And then what's your background? And then like it really does, like it hones in what your character can be from the very get-go, so that when you get into the fine tuning, you already have a lot of the work already done.
Yes.
And
a lot of things they took out most of the abilities, so there's no pin escape. There's no they kind of integrated it already into the game.
Yeah,
where everyone has like a ring escape depending on what ability you have. Like say for example, someone like Rey Mysterio, he has a comeback sequence. Not all wrestlers have comebacks.
Yes.
The attributes are still the same as it has been, which is pretty easy to mess with.
Mm-hmm.
The persona thing, they also have set attires for, if you want to be something from the 80s, or you want to be like an old-time, like medieval style wrestler for whatever reason.
Or someone who's into cosplay, or someone who's an entertainer, or sports, or someone who walked in off the street. Or...
You're like a homeless bum walking. Like, I'm gonna be alright.
I can do a suplex. Why not?
So they definitely have learned their lesson, and they keep it like 2K19, and it still has pretty much almost everything you could customize previously.
Yeah. With every new game, there's going to be DLC. I mean, that's just the world we live in right now. And WWE 2K22 is no different. You have the accelerator and you have the season pass, which comes with different wrestlers being released at different points in times. And you also have what's the other thing?
The other thing the other thing would be the microtransactions that you find in the store.
Yeah, but that's never happening.
Yeah.
But
I think currently just at this time of date, it's just the accelerator and the season pass and all the transaction crap. I just bought the standalone edition, so I haven't bought the Undertaker or the NWO one that was like way more,
yeah,
like double the price. So
but you did buy the accelerator.
yes, I do that for everyone, especially after seeing how long it takes to get the actual in-game currency. So it's only like $5 here in the U.S. I said most of the time I'm like I'd rather just pay dollars, get everything unlocked so I can get right to gaming and enjoying the game without grinding heavily in a fighting game.
Yeah. I got the deluxe edition, which is it came with the accelerator. It came with the season pass. And I'm looking at what's coming out with the season pass, and there's a lot of wrestlers that I'm looking forward to having in the roster. It also makes it so that if and when I buy the new edition Xbox Series X, this game will transfer over. So there is that perk, and I do plan on getting that in the future. So I'm not upset with the price. It is a little up there. I'm thinking the reason why they did that because it really is more expensive than prior games. I think they're trying to recoup losses from that thing that we will not talk about that came after 20K or that came after WWE 2K19. So
yes,
I think that's what that was. Saying that, you have to think that a lot of chips were on the table for this game. 2K games were probably at like back against the wall, whatever metaphor you want to use. They know that the game that shall not be mentioned was an absolute clusterfuck. And so they had to come out swinging with this game.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's either that or be done.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And these games do come out typically yearly, besides, the thing we're not going to talk about. They took a whole another year just to get this game right, which is surprising they actually let them do that.
Yeah.
Because usually they're like, come on, we got to get the game out every year.
Yeah. With that being said, have you experienced any other issues or glitches or anything of the sort with WWE 2K22?
The only two I can think of is the first one is in the showcase, which when you, at least on my Xbox, I don't know if it experienced anybody else who's played it, said the experience. When in the cutscenes when Ray talks about the match, it like stutters. So he continues to talk, but the screen itself stutters, and then all of a sudden it like instantly transmissions to like Rey Mysterio. That's the main thing I've noticed, but it could be a patch fix eventually. The second thing they still haven't fixed is like getting caught in the ropes. So half your body, so your legs stuck in the rope. You try moving, the rope's still going with you. So those are the only two I can think of.
It pretty much covers everything. Ultimately, like this is the first wrestling game I've paid full price for in a very long time, and quite frankly, like I'm rather surprised and embarrassed about how many hours I've already logged into this game, and that is honestly a credit to how much fun this game is.
Unlike JD, I buy the game every year. So, besides the one we won't talk about, or we won't mention, I buy them every year, especially after 19, because I loved that one. It's probably up there with all the 2K games they've made, probably one of the best ones up until this point here.
Yeah.
The combos are great, the creation's great, the universe is just how it should be. The addition of GM mode is great. Just make it online, please. They took all the right steps and they gave a lot of fans what they wanted. Like people have been asking for GM mode since 2007 ended, and they finally took them like 10 plus years, but they finally listened.
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
Yep. The only thing, like I agree with everything you just said. My faction is pretty much forever going to be something that I'm just going to continue to just skip over.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less about that sort of thing within the game. The only thing that I think is missing, and it's something that has not been present since like the PlayStation 2 games, is bring back special guest referee for crying out loud.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Like,
Those were so fun.
It
Drop the matches, fast count, like
or just the ability to be able to like, you know what, go online and just be a referee, be a career referee online. Imagine how much fun that would be.
Screwing over people. 1, 2.
So ultimately, I'm rather surprised and pleased with this game, and you know, I'm going to continue to play it, and I'm going to be playing it online, private lobbies, difficulties be damned. I'm going to be gaming with you on this for quite some time.
Oh yeah, at least until they release a new one.
All right. Thanks for joining us. I'm JD, the Media Jack.
I'm Carberry 80.
Take care.